Hello, and welcome back to the SolidCAM mill turn training videos. Let's jump right in and start a new mill turn project. The next group of videos will break out the steps into short videos discussing relevant information at each step. Let's first start by opening the file that we want to machine. To do this, I'll navigate to my File, Open dialog from the SOLIDWORKS File menu. From here, I'll browse for the location of where I have my part file stored and select the file that I want to open for machining. Now, if you have a choice between file formats to use, you may want to select the most advanced file type option. What I mean by this is that if you could pick between a .sldprt file or a step model of the same part file, the .sldprt file may contain more information that can assist you in programming certain features. If your part has holes in it that need to be machined and the hole wizard was used in SOLIDWORKS for design, SOLIDWORKS will actually pass that information over to us on the programming side, whereas a step model will still have the holes in the model, but it's not going to have that embedded information of what that hole actually is. Now, we can work with either type of data, but one can have more advantages over the other. And in this case, I'm going to choose the SOLIDWORKS native file, and we will open that file up. Once I have my part file opened inside of SOLIDWORKS, I'm going to now instigate a new CAM project. Now, you can launch a CAM project from different places within the SOLIDWORKS interface. I can kind of tab over to my SolidCAM manager over here, and I can say New, in this case, Mill Turn Project. Alternatively, from the ribbon under the SolidCAM Operations tab, I can say New, and in this case, Mill Turn Project. Both will take you to the same locations and get you to the same result. Our setup wizard will help take you through the required information. The wizard will prompt you for information on how you want to save your CAM project. You can either choose to embed the CAM project directly to the SLDPRT file, or you can save the project with an external reference using your own naming convention under CAM part name. Now, if you do embed the CAM project directly to the SOLIDWORKS part file, remember that the file size will go up due to your toolpaths, machine information, as well as setup information will be added. So if you're sharing data back and forth with a customer or a vendor, it's something to keep in mind if it makes the files too large for emailing. In this particular example, I'm going to save mine externally. What this will do is it will make a perfect copy of the original part file, and we will work on the copy, and it puts the original away for safekeeping. This copy, however, is in perfect reference to the original part, so that if the design model changes due to a revision, our toolpaths will also be referenced to that original. This also allows you to give the part file or your project file a naming convention that makes sense for you and the types of operations you're performing on the part, or perhaps it might reflect a naming convention if I was machining fixtures or any other relevant information of a way for me to identify this project later on if I ever need to come back and revisit it for one reason or another. But name your project files in a convention that makes sense to you. And then where does it store the CAM project file? Well, if this checkmark is checked that says use model file directory, it's going to store the CAM project in the same location where you pulled the .sldprt file from. Alternatively, you can uncheck that, and then you can browse for a directory that will allow you to save your CAM project wherever it is that you would want to save the CAM project. The last steps that we need to do on this particular dialog is select are we working either in inches or metric units. Once I hit accept on the way out the door, it will bring us to the next step of our setup, and we will cover that in the next video. Thank you for watching this video. Please watch the next to address the next steps for starting a mill turn project. See you soon.